So I wanted to talk a little bit about shadow work and what it entails, how we kind of like process things, right? And for me, shadow work is basically not like diving in deeper into our like mental and emotional health and forgiving ourselves for not taking care of it as much, because the stigma around mental health is kind of really shit, where we think it's okay to put it on the back burner and we focus more on like our physical body and how we're taking care of that instead of our mental well-being. And the reason I'm talking about it now is because usually a lot of people become affected like with those like self-harm thoughts, as far as like how badly we talk about ourselves in our mind and how we can put on a front to other people that we're okay but mentally we're not. It's really about like diving deep into the why that thought is coming up. Like, how did we attain that thought, and how did we like think that coping mechanism that we do with stuffing it down isn't healthy for us, right? And then we get to ask ourselves like, okay, so how is that thought holding me back from what I need to accomplish or what I want to accomplish? And just like being grateful for the things that we do have and retraining our brain. Now, I know that it's hard, and I know that we do it every single day unknowingly, where we're working on it constantly, but because winter's coming and all this stuff, I know that it's coming earlier this year, mainly just because of we've been kind of like suppressed as far as like we've had to be home. A lot of people have lost their jobs. They feel useless. They have a lot of negative self-talk that they're putting in, to their own brain. And sometimes when we stuff even like the littlest down and we allow ourselves to feel certain things, those little things end up like exploding around like November. And I say this because, a lot of people will miss their families coming like holiday times, and then they'll go in like a depression state. And it's about really trying to figure out how to get out of that, right? And get ahead of it when you're aware of it. That way you can kind of like beat it to the punch. And I've been doing like crazy journaling. Like I journal all the time anyways, but I've really been allowing myself to take time out and put things down that I dislike about myself. Now, you can use the word hate, but I don't like the word hate. Like, that word just, I don't know, there's a fine line between love and hate, so I just use it as dislike. And if you're wanting to dive deep into this, please reach out to me and let me know. I will give you what I've been doing. So far, after meditating, I've only gotten like 2 things around how I can deal with it better, because I'm aware that I deal with that stuff every single day. And I'm not saying that like my mental health is any worse than anybody else's, but I do have things that I know that I don't cope well with and that I don't address or feel when I should be. And I don't allow myself that time. And now I've really been allowing myself that time to do it. And just within the last week, I literally feel a shift like for the better, and it feels so good. So if you're ready to tackle your mental health and being more kinder to yourself and how you speak to yourself, please let me know, and I will literally take a picture of my first page that I wrote to myself. Like, I intuitively channeled how I felt I was going to work well with it, and then I'll give you like what I'm doing every single day so that you can also change it however you want, whatever words you want that will fit you better. That's totally fine. I don't care. I just want everybody to know and be aware that it's okay. Like, if you're having like depression or anxiety, because not only is election time coming up where we're worried about things, there's other personal matters that we worry about. There's holidays coming up that we miss family. Family is the one thing that I struggle with, is always worrying about family or the ones that I love and when they're not here. And a lot of my coping mechanisms also come from my family, and like they're not healthy, you know what I mean? I don't blame them for anything. But how we cope is a learned behavior. So diving into it and really figuring it out will make like a world of difference and make you feel so much better when, you know, you're giving yourself that time to take out every single day and write it down and figure it out so that you can feel better and break that pattern and start a new pattern. So that's my little thought for the day on wanting to help and just have everybody be more, you know, mentally and physically aligned instead of neglecting one or the other. Okay, so one, if you made it this far, congratulations. That was a pretty lengthy story and I shouldn't have made a video, but I just don't feel like it right now. Two, easy reference for you guys to understand shadow work is if you guys have watched the show Dexter. Now, I have watched it once before, loved it. Now, I have a different perspective watching it because of all that negative shit he says in his mind, right? That no one knows about. No one really knows anything about him, right? He's kept it secret, and he also figured out why, right? He figured out the why he's done things, how he copes with it, how it's not healthy. You know what I mean? Great reference to what shadow work is if you're like still wondering what it is. So yeah, give Dexter a watch. Love that show, even though it's fucking crazy. Great example of what it is.